Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you 10 unique window designs for Minecraft building. So this first one is pretty weird, but the basic idea around it is just that the bamboo trapdoors work really well with the bamboo scaffolding, so therefore it works at a really good window, but the problem is that it just sticks out by a full block, so maybe this isn't for an up-close building, maybe this is more for like a distant building that you would see in the distance. I do think this could work really well in like a city build or like a, maybe like a Victorian style build. This next one is very aesthetic, I would say. It's kind of like a fantasy vibe just because of the colors, the way it goes from the darker pink to the lighter pink out there, or it goes from purple to lighter pink. And if this blue works really well with the pink and purple background. And once again, this isn't a very practical window because it just has black concrete, but you can always just change that, say it goes with the first one. And the scaffolding just works really well as a frame for the window. These next windows are really big, but they're all pretty much the same style. It's pretty much like a fantasy, kind of like woodland castle vibe. The reason why I say that is because these are directly from a build that I made, which you can see on screen right now a while ago. They're also just very aesthetic as they look pretty realistic for real windows, I would say, especially this one here. Really happy with this window. Now this next one creates a bit of a darker mood, but it's once again not very practical because these windows they literally are just frog lights. You can always just change that. That's kind of just like a thing I like to do with windows sometimes. But it's just that the pink and the purple of the frog lights, it works really well in my opinion with the brown background, all these different kinds of woods. This could work really well in like darker builds or just builds that have very little light coming in. Like think about maybe an underground build. I think this could work really well. So this next one is not very practical because I'm once again just using the frog lights and the trapdoors for the windows because it just creates light. It looks a lot better that way. We can always change that. This one, however, in my opinion, or at least how I was trying to design it to be a bit more cyberpunky with like the green, because the green is a bit like, it's a bit outlandish. It looks maybe a little bit like weathered, looks a bit aged, and the bamboo works as a really good base. But the windows themselves, they're really simple designs that work really well on this kind of like cyberpunky background. And actually you can see a photo right now on the screen of a build where I used this. It's just directly where I took this build from. This next one is very blue. I think it could work really well in like underwater builds. What I think makes this one special is the copper grates, because I think they work really well for like a big window design like this one. And along with like the stairs and this up top thing with the logs, I think it just looks really well as a window design. And the sandstone here, it's just a small touch that I think works well with the blue. You know, the yellow and the blue, I think it works really well together. Going back to Cyberpunk style, I'm using mostly copper in this build, but it's kind of just 3 more window designs that I think could work really well in a Cyberpunk city. Going back to the scaffolding, you can once again just use them as a frame with a black background to make it look like it's a abandoned building of some kind. But this next one is a bit weird because if you use tinted glass and some glowstone and you just add 3 layers of tinted glass like that, it creates a bit of a weird effect with like the black concrete around it, which obviously it's not a very practical build, but I think it would look really cool as like a backdrop in a cyberpunk build. And also I think this window style just works really well with copper, once again just like a cyberpunk vibe. This last one is very simple. It doesn't have to be black. You can just like make a real room behind it. But it's just a very simple like archway design for a classic window. Next one is pretty overdone, as you can tell. It's a lot more than just windows, but it's a fantasy design. It's just a design I had in mind because you can just once again use these trapdoors made out of bamboo as like a window. And with these flower pots here, I think it just works really well. It's very organic with the block choice. I think it's like the mud bricks and the oranges and the pretty bad roof, which honestly I should probably change, and like the little like vegetation on the island. It all creates a very fantasy vibe for these very peculiar little windows. So this last one is pretty different from all the rest of them. This is like a modern style, like for skyscrapers, but it's a very simple design, just using the, what's it called? Tinted glass behind this quartz. I think it just looks like it's structurally supported. I think it just looks interesting and it looks pretty realistic. This last one is also a bit overdone like that one over there because it's a lot more than just windows, but it's very cozy and very organic. This one here tells a story because everything here looks aged, like the vegetation on the walls, like this little lamppost, just the building design, and also just like these plants. I think it all tells like a very like old story of like still life basically. And the reason why this window itself is brown is because it just looks itself a lot more aged that way, because if it was just like a regular window, it would look very new, it would look like it was replaced recently, but this building isn't meant to look like it's replaced, so that's why the windows are brown, which is a trick you could use in buildings. Well, that was all 10 designs. I hope you enjoyed these designs. Well, that was pretty nice. Tell me what you want to see else in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching and subscribe. See you later.